A friend of mine was looking at my 401k statement a few years ago. He looked at the numbers, looked back at me, and just said, "You know you're paying someone to underperform the market, right?" I laughed it off at first. But then he ran the numbers. And I stopped laughing. Because I wasn't losing money in a crash. I wasn't making bad trades. I was just slowly leaking. And the worst part? It was happening in 3 different ways at the same time, and I only knew about one of them. The first leak is the obvious one: fees. Every fund in your 401k charges something called an expense ratio. It's a percentage of your total balance, taken every single year, but it never shows up as a bill. It doesn't appear on a statement. There's no invoice. No line item. It just quietly subtracts itself from your gains before you ever see them. Now, 1% sounds small. Just a penny on the dollar, right? But on a $200,000 balance, which is not an unusual number for someone who's been contributing for 10 or 15 years, that's $2,000 a year. Gone. Not charged. Just absent. And here's the part HR never explains: that $2,000 doesn't just disappear. It stops compounding. If that money had stayed invested, growing alongside everything else, a single 1% difference in fees can cost you $100,000 to $150,000 over your working life. When I finally checked mine and saw I was paying 1.3%, I literally closed my laptop. Had to go for a walk. I felt sick. The second leak is the fund menu problem. Think back to your first day at your current job. HR hands you a packet. Tells you to pick your funds. You have maybe 20 minutes before the next part of orientation starts. You assume the options in front of you are there because someone optimized them for you. They weren't. Your employer chose a plan provider. That provider has what they call relationships with certain funds. Some of those funds are fine. Many of them are expensive and consistently underperform the market they're supposed to track. It's not a conspiracy. It's just business. But it means you may have been paying more to get worse results since day one, without ever knowing it. When I looked at what I'd been automatically placed in, I was in an actively managed fund charging 1.3% per year. Inside the same plan, buried in the options list, there was an index fund charging 0.05%. An index fund, by the way, doesn't have a manager picking stocks. It just tracks the whole market. No active decisions. No reason to charge you 1.3%. Moving my money from that managed fund to the low-cost index fund took me 40 minutes. No penalties. No tax event. No phone calls. Just fixed. The third leak is the one that never shows up anywhere, not on a statement, not on a fee disclosure, not in your annual summary. Inflation. If your 401k grows 6% this year but inflation runs at 4%, your real return, the actual increase in what your money can buy, is 2%. You worked all year, contributed every paycheck, watched the balance go up, and you moved 2% forward. You're on a treadmill. This is where asset allocation quietly does its damage. Depending on your plan and when you enrolled, you may have been defaulted into a conservative fund, something designed for someone 10 years from retirement. If you're 30 years old sitting in that kind of fund, you're not being safe. You're just growing slower than the cost of living. The fix here is usually one check, one adjustment. Log in. Find your current allocation. Ask whether it actually matches how many years you have before you'll need this money. If the answer is no, that's the leak. And it's fixable in the same 40 minutes as the last one. Now let me show you what all of this actually costs. Fees are friction. And compounding hates friction. Imagine 2 people. Both invest $500 a month. Both do it for 30 years. Both get a 7% average market return. The only difference, one pays 1.3% in annual fees. The other pays 0.1%. After 30 years, same market, same discipline, same contributions, the low-fee investor ends up with approximately $150,000 more. $150,000. Same inputs. One variable. That's not a rounding error. That's a down payment on a house. That's 5 years of retirement income. That's the difference between working until you have to and stopping when you want to. All of it, from one number most people have never checked? Here's where I want you to do something. Not later. Right now. Pause this video. Open your 401k account, on your phone, on your laptop, wherever you have it, and search for the expense ratio of every fund you're in. If it's under 0.2%, you're in good shape. You're winning this part. If it's over 0.5%, look closer. There's probably a better option inside your same plan. If it's over 1%, you just found your first leak. Come back and drop your number in the comments. I want to see what some of these plans are actually charging, because most people have no idea until they look. If you're over 1%, you're not alone. And it's fixable. The people who retire with more money than they thought they'd have, they're not smarter. They didn't time the market. They didn't get lucky. They just logged in, checked the number, and fixed it. That's the whole thing.